All righty.
Good morning, everybody. Friday, June 18. The slaughterhouse of failure is not in my destiny. I will persist until I succeed. Ogmandino. By the way, today is Didi Van Boeven's birthday. So happy birthday, Didi. I don't know if she's on. She usually is. She may not be today because it's her birthday. So anyway, acknowledge that. So today's actually, I think, an important milestone in 2021 because it's just about exactly halfway through the year, the 18th of June. And it's a good time to introspect and to look and see, where we are, where we've been going, and where we're going to go. And so I have one or two things that I'd like to mention. Then Dan's also obviously got some more. So the first thing I would like to say is we're influencers in our own families, in our own homes, in our own communities. We're actually influencers. How well are we steering our lives and influencing those around us? Now, why am I saying that? Because as we see where we are today, and we think about the fact that we can help a lot of people, we can influence a lot of people, then I look around and we see what happened this week with Ronaldo, who was in a press interview. He's a famous soccer guy in Brazil, Brazilian, I think. And he was in a TV interview and he took 2 bottles of Coca-Cola off the interview where he was. So they were interviewing him and he purposely took off the 2 bottles. That cost Coca-Cola $4 billion. So, actions and words have consequences. And I just want to reflect on that because just that simple thing of taking the Coke bottles off there, we interpret that as what? Not taking too much sugar, whatever. But the action is what influences. And what he did afterwards, he said, take water, drink water. So we are influencers. And I just want to reflect on this milestone of halfway through the year. Where are we?
And we, who we're influencing each other as a team. We're influencing physicians, we're influencing patients and everybody that we come in contact with, trying to show them how to become healthier, show them a measurement tool that we can show them that they're seeing an improvement by taking our supplementation or eating healthier. And so along with that comes having a purpose in life. And there's a Japanese concept of Ikagai, which is creating a direction or purpose in life. And what that does is it provides a sense of fulfillment toward, taking action and satisfaction and a sense of meaning to your life. And, as Laura said, we're influencers, and that's one of the, directions or purposes. And I think all of our lives at this point is to help bring this technology to physicians and patients, show as many people as possible what we have and how they can utilize it to become healthier and prevent disease. So, last year at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, don't waste this crisis. And so I want everybody to think about, where have you been prior to COVID-19? Where were you during COVID-19? Where are you coming out of COVID-19? And what are you doing to expand your business and catapult your business to the next level, right? I think we have an excellent opportunity with some things coming up that's going to give all of us the opportunity to increase our business and increase our footprint, and increase our influence on others. And so I think it's important for everybody to kind of think about where you've been, where you are, where you're going, not only just in this business, but in life and your relationships and things along those lines as well.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the lag and the lead. The lag is a retrospect and the lead is a forward look. So this is a perfect moment to understand and analyze and look and see the last 6 months, because honestly, they've gone so quickly. Think about it. I mean, we're now middle of June of 2021. And this, I always say, it's like the toilet paper. The closer it gets to the end, the quicker it goes. And as we get older, it goes like in a second, appears to. So this is the time now. We're in the middle of the year. It's a moment, perfect moment to say, okay, how many people are going on the trip? How many people did we get to go on the trip, or that are qualifying to go on the trip? How many new executives did we get? How did our volumes increase? How did they maintain, or or if they decreased, why? If we had a hiccup, what was the cause? Let's look at all of these factors that influence our business, because we're now looking at a moment when we've got to have the accountability to ourselves. We're accountable to ourselves, first of all, and say, well, how did we do? Why did we fail here? How come we did so well there? And these are things we've got to put down in writing most times, and act on our educated decisions, educated information that we can act on. That's how we can go forward. When we look what's happened, analyze that, and then look forward.
And we have a lot of opportunities right now that we haven't had for quite some time, to analyze what we're doing, get other people involved in what we have coming up. There's three things that I'm looking at right now. The first thing is that we have this promotion, brand representative promotion, going on till the end of June. Hopefully that'll be extended. I don't know if it will, but an awesome opportunity to get your brand affiliates to brand representative by having them 4 sharing blocks this month. If they get 4 sharing blocks, they're automatically going to become brand representatives. So if you have people that are looking at the business and maybe don't want to spend the money, if they go out and place, for the initial healthcare professional package, if they go out and place a scanner or get 2,000 points in orders, they can automatically qualify to get the scanner. So that's one thing. The second thing is we've got Collagen Plus coming up. What are you doing to further that, further your business with that promotion? That's going to be an excellent promotion because it kind of bridges the gap between the skincare and the nutritional lines that we have. And then thirdly, we have the Utah symposium coming up at the end of July. How many of you are going? How many of you have invited folks to that meeting? So there's a lot of things coming up in the next month and a half that we can utilize to catapult our business. Those are the 3 things that I'm looking at right now to catapult my business in the next couple of months. So it's a fantastic opportunity. I think right now with the Utah trip, everybody's looking to get out and travel. They haven't been able to do it for a year and a half. They haven't been able to connect with people on an in-person basis. And so I think now is a great time to look at, inviting those that you've been talking to recently, inviting those that you've talked to in the past to that meeting, because I think it's going to be very productive in furthering your business.
And as you said, Dan, the timing right now is not only exciting, but it's a moment where we can foresee really big growth in our organizations. I'll just give an example about preparation, because this is what it's about. We've been told, we've been shown that we've got this Collagen X coming up. We've already heard Tanner Gibb make a most eloquent, very, very impelling presentation about the advantages that this product has compared to other products and so on, and what the ingredients are and so on. And this reminds me, the importance of preparing for the big day, because we're looking at eventually harvesting something. So I used to be in the tobacco business, and tobacco takes about 6 weeks for seedlings and then 90 days approximately for the tobacco to grow from a transplanted seedling to harvesting. So the land preparation was something that we did okay. But when I looked and saw the sugarcane preparation, those guys would spend literally weeks and weeks preparing the soil, preparing the land, even with laser preparation, measurements for the irrigation and so on. The land was like spectacularly well prepared. Why? Because the sugarcane was going to take 18 months to 2 years to mature. So, and by then, then the harvest comes. So the preparation that they made was perfect. And the yields were much, much better if they did it that way. So we're not looking for short-term results. We're looking for results that are lasting. So our preparation of how we can show people what we've got with this collagen plus, how we can get more distributors to become executives this month, and that's just 2,000 points. That's going to enable somebody to become an executive. It normally takes 6,000 points. Wow! So we have the tools. We have been shown what's going to happen. It's up to us now to really spend this time preparing and pre-selling. And this is what it is. Pre-selling, we're going to have codes. Each one of us will have codes, whether it's 5 codes or 20 codes, which are duplicatable. I mean, a double. We can have double if we can place those codes in the first 24 hours. So we've got this huge potential. And I'll just quickly mention several years ago when TR90 came out, we were given information that this was going to come out. It was going to be a special product targeting fat genes and so on, and not diminishing muscle mass. And when it came out, worldwide, the company sold $560 million. In the States, they sold $40 million in 2 hours, 32 minutes. I remember we had some codes, and I remember we were sitting there waiting on the computer because as soon as they opened, we put in our codes to buy product. And after 2 hours, 30 minutes, they had sold out in the States. And this was a lesson for me to be attentive to what comes out and prepare for it. So it's a huge opportunity for us. We will be given codes, and we just have to share these codes, or at least allow people to be able to buy product through these codes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge opportunity. I think I have probably half of my codes already spoken for. So it's on my calendar that the second that the codes come out, to get them to those folks who want to try the product. And so, a lot of this is about accountability, thinking about where you are, where you want to be, and holding yourself accountable for reaching that milestone, reaching that goal. So we've got these 3 big things coming up. The one other thing I want to mention that I'm super excited about is this continuing education webinar series that we have going on. And so, we had the first one on rheumatoid arthritis, Dr. Manzi Shah and Dr. Kent Nelson. They did a fantastic job with that. We have another one coming up with Dr. Tierce on Wednesday, June 23rd. So I think we all need to be promoting that to ophthalmologists and optometrists. I think it's going to be a great event. I think I have on my MailChimp, I have a group of optometrists, about 500 optometrists. I've been sending them, teasers on the continuing education webinar series coming up on the 23rd on a nutritional approach to macular degeneration. So you need to hold yourself accountable to whether or not you're going to get folks to that webinar. I think these webinars that there's a lot of work that goes into putting these on. And if we're not inviting people and getting people on there, we're not doing a good job of expanding our business, because this is an excellent opportunity to do just that. So I encourage all of you to, the next couple of days, reach out to as many folks as possible and get as many folks as possible on that webinar series on the 23rd. I think it's going to be an excellent opportunity to introduce the scanner or reintroduce the scanner to folks that you've been talking to currently or in the past.
So I would have a question for everybody. We've got calls on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Scott Bennett has a call on Monday, Mansi and Kent Nelson on Wednesdays, and we have a call on Fridays. I'm just wondering, how useful are these calls? Does anybody get anything out of it? If they do, if you do get anything out of it, how come we're not increasing the people that are on these calls? Because if we're useful, if some of the information is useful and people can use it, then surely it's something that we should be helping to expand our businesses. That's what it's about. None of us, we're all on different legs. We're all under Scott Bennett, but I don't benefit, Dan doesn't benefit from probably most of the people on this call. And Kent doesn't benefit, nor does Mansi, from the people on the call either. So my question is, we do it because we feel, I speak for myself, but I'm sure I'm speaking for Dan too, but we feel that if we've got something that may be useful, that could help anybody, that's what our mission is to try and impart some information, some thoughts that may be useful. But we need to know from you also, and also, why are we not growing these groups? We should have 100 people on these calls.
Yeah, so Lawrence and I were talking about this the other day, and one of the things that we thought might be useful on this call, and we'll spend the next 10 minutes doing that, is calling out a few folks, how they find these calls useful, and then maybe talk a little bit about where your business was pre-COVID, where, how things went during the pandemic, and then what are you doing coming out of the pandemic? So Lawrence, let's call on Michael Cook to start. Michael, if you're there and you want to unmute yourself, kind of let us know if you find these calls useful, if other people on your team would find these calls useful, and how can we get them on the calls, and then where your business has gone pre-pandemic to post-pandemic.
Sure. Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy to be a part of this. These calls are very important. Talking about this just the other day, this is a way that we can compress time. I've heard Scott Bennett use that term before. I hope I'm using it in the same context, but I'm thinking about it, that, Lawrence and you are spending 30 minutes of your time on this call. But if you look at everybody that's on the call, it's 30 minutes for them too. So in Lawrence's time, it's 30 minutes, but if there's 10 people on the call, that's 5 hours. Think about that. So this is something that people get an uplifting message, or they learn something, and they're going to act on that throughout the week. So now you're adding more time to that 30 minutes. So these calls are very, very informative. The mindset call, I absolutely love. You guys do a great job. But that's how I look at it, and I do. And anytime someone signs up with me as a brand rep, as a brand affiliate, I stress how important it is for them to get on these calls, especially in the beginning, so that they at least understand what the calls are and how they can benefit from them.
Awesome. I'm glad you find them useful. Now,
Thanks, Michael.
The last year and a half has been, trying and difficult for all of us. Where were you pre-pandemic? What did you do during the pandemic? And how are you adjusting your approach coming out of the pandemic?
I think if we look at who's here, just randomly pick some names that are consistently on the call. Maybe could we volunteer, I don't know, Bonnie Beck? Bonnie, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
All right. Where are you?
I'm in Florida. I'm in Hallandale, Florida.
Okay.
And I joined the call, I would say 80% of the time. Some of the calls are more relevant to me than others. I think there was a while, a couple weeks back, that the only thing that everybody talked about every single call was the conference. That got a little old for me. But I enjoy listening to folks. I think I've been in sales much of my life, and so I don't need a lot of motivation from people. I can just sit down at my desk and call 30 people. So, it's nice to hear stories, I guess, success stories. But I don't need to do it. I don't think I need to attend 3 times a week. I find that I'm trying to do the calls myself, call people rather than listening about people who are calling people.
Okay.
That's just my honest opinion.
What was your background in sales? Medical device sales?
I worked for a consulting company,
okay.
Market consulting, and so large consulting projects. I've also had my own nutrition practice. And I'm just really feeling my way because all of the nutrition buddies I talk to have no interest in this at all. So I'm reaching out, doing other types of outreach.
You see, that's interesting because, for example, the people that do nutrition have no interest. That's actually interesting.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because they all sell other supplements. And they make, I've heard it several times already, they will bring a supplement in their office and they'll automatically get a 50% markup. And when I talk about the commission structure here, it's not as compelling to them.
Actually, Bonnie, with respect, could I tell you that I've actually love the people that have product, that have their own product, and they talk about percentage markup, and they talk about that, and I say, well, what is your retention? And that's where you can start looking and saying, well, wait a minute, I know you're making 50% more, 50% markup on what? On how much?
Mm-hmm.
The product is half the price of ours. Okay, so you're making 50% of $30. That's $15. So then you say, what's your retention? And there you will say, you'll start to have a good discussion. Because
I actually started a different tactic. I mean, that's interesting. Also, but the products that they're using in practice are ones that I'm very familiar with. They're not necessarily that much less expensive than ours. But what I talk about is 2 things. Number one, that my husband and I started on them, and 2 months later, how much our scores increased, telling me that our products are more bioavailable, and that what I've been taking was, I was getting more expensive pee than really excellent product. The other thing I've suggested to them is that, okay, before you start your patient on, these 4 supplements that you have in your office, scan them. And after 6 weeks, 8 weeks, scan them again. How much are they improved? And if they're not, well, are you ready to try a different product that has 100% success guarantee? So that's where I've been going, Lawrence. I hope that makes sense.
Perfect. That's what I was getting at. You've got a tool that we've invested $100 million in. That, I think, is extremely valuable when you start talking with people, when one talks with people that are selling supplements. Says, okay, perfect. I love it. You got a great supplement. Stick your hand on this thing and see how you take it, right? Oh, yeah, I take it. Fine. It's for antioxidants. Absolutely fine. Put your hand on this. And then when you see that, you can differentiate yourself from everybody else. And I've actually had a couple of actual physicians who have their own brands, private labeling.
Private label, right.
Private labeling. And I've said to them, you know what, I'll tell you what, I totally respect your product. I think it's great. I don't know it, but I accept that you believe it's great. So why don't we do this? take a product, take a sample of your people with your product, and then compare them with taking our product. And
That's what I'm trying to do. That's exactly what I'm trying to do to get it.
And then I go and I'm rude, and I say, it's about integrity. If you can prove your product is better than ours, I'm saying to you, go for it. But if ours is actually proven to be better, integrity, baby. That's how I look at it.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir. That's exactly my feeling. My problem is getting in their door. And these are people I know right now, because they've got a room full of supplements on their shelves. And so it's very hard to break that mind thought of theirs.
Well, there's another point that Martin's just brought up now, Martin Forster. That's another extremely valid point. We do not have to carry inventory.
Right. I tell them that. I tell them right up front.
Straight to the patient.
Yeah.
And it's guaranteed, here's this one, guaranteed to raise the level of antioxidants. So,
I should send you one of the emails that I send. I hit all of those points exactly. And
so how many three-way, I don't know who your upline is or how you got in a bit, I didn't.
I've been doing some three-way calls with Lisa Stout. I did one just 2 days ago with her. I am doing, I'm calling in. Like I just looked up, for example, I have a hand surgeon who's interested, but he said, I don't know how to integrate it. I sent him the video of Dr. Robert Colgrove, a plastic surgeon. I'm looking at Colgrove up right now to see if I can talk to him to get him on a call to my hand surgeon. So I'm working at it hard. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not the best person to ask as far as, do I need the motivation of the calls 3 times a week?
It's not motivation, Bonnie. It's about points that people, can I put it this way in a humble way? When there's a flight between Miami and Rome, there are always factors that affect the flight, the wind, the headwinds, tailwinds, side winds, or whatever. And you've got to keep tweaking the direction of where you're going, because if you go off direction 1 or 2 degrees from the beginning, you'll end up in Moscow. So these calls are not actually, motivational. They should not necessarily supposed to be motivation. They're supposed to be food for thought, where we can adapt some ideas that we may not have thought about because we've got a collective thing, and we can put input like you are now. You've just given us some really good input, and other people will benefit from that.
Yeah, and that's why I listen, because I do get ideas. If I can take one little grain of knowledge away, then I feel it's been a successful call for me.
Awesome.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
All right, Lawrence. It's 10 o'clock. Do we have any questions or comments?
Anybody else want to add something?
I would love to share why I come to the calls.
Okay.
I come to the calls not only because everyone is super supportive, but I come to the calls because it creates a really good habit of discipline and showing up and investing in yourself, right? And definitely lead by example. I question why we don't have 100 people on this call, but as far as my team goes, timing wise isn't good, so they just do the replay on Facebook. But again, I'm new-ish to this, so I love to come to hear everyone's journey, pain points. I always get something great from it. I love all the calls, but this one particularly, I get it sets my tone for the weekend, and kind of makes me think about how I'm going to game plan for the week. So definitely that's why I come to the call. And yeah, thank you for doing it. We really do appreciate it. I like to joke with Lawrence and say I come for Lawrence, but I really stay for Dan.
That's great.
By the way,
Hey guys.
thank you. If you have any, sorry, somebody's going to say something?
Oh, this is Jim. and I always have something to say. But I appreciate Bonnie coming on. With what Bonnie was saying makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, I wanted to say to Bonnie, in this business, I think it's incredibly important to get skilled at talking to people about it. But for me, it's equally as important to model for my team members, because you always want to get as fast as you can a handful of people on your team, and you want to lead them, because this is all about leveraging your efforts. This is not a single salesperson business. And these calls, if they will do what Mike Cook asked them to do, which is immediately get on these calls, because you'll learn a lot up front, but it gets you into the community, and it helps you to learn, hey, I want to get my handful of team members as well. I need to lead them. And so, yes, we'll all be picking up our gold nuggets, sometimes more than less on each call. But the important thing is we're showing up, and we're there, and we're leading and modeling for those that we want on our team, we care about, we want them to grow their businesses.
Absolutely. Great points, Jim.
I wish I had a team.
Well, this is the way to do it. Bonnie, this is exactly the way to do it. This is the point of this.
There's nothing better than this business than having a team. If you're solo, then I'd say make that almost one of your number one objectives is, hey, I'm not going to try to sell somebody on getting it in their practice. I want to sell somebody on what the vision is for this business. I want them to join me. You put your backs together and you'll start having a lot of fun with this business.
Yeah, that's another good selling point for your nutritionist friends, Bonnie, is that not only can they enter the business and start selling it within their practice, but they can also bring their colleagues into the business and benefit financially from that as well, which they probably can't do with their existing company. So you could say you're getting 50% return, but they're probably losing 30% for stale supplements going bad on the shelf past their expiration date. Not only that, they have the outlay of initial investment in all of those supplements that they have in that room full of supplements, and then how much are they being charged for credit card fees and everything else that goes along with that. It's not 50%. They can say it's 50%, but it probably ends up being somewhere around 35%, or maybe even a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, so that's great information. That I like that a lot.
Hey, Dan, may I make one other point? Because I think it's a really important one on that issue. And I was just speaking to two doctors yesterday and made this point with them, which is, this is a business where you will be selling these products out of your office, maintaining no inventory, doing no financial transactions. But more importantly, because of our corporate structure, it allows us to allow a referral process. So that doctor, if they refer 2 or 3 other doctors and they all know a bunch of doctors, they can make an override off of their business. So now they're making leveraged income, not just I put my hands on you, I make some income, paradigm. Yeah. And I think that's really distinct with our program.
I'd comment on that too, that I remember John Whitaker was talking about this a couple of years ago, and he points out shrinkage. And as a lot of people not in retail don't know what shrinkage is. That's employee theft. So things do disappear conveniently at times. So that's another savings. But Bonnie, you mentioned you're in Florida. One of the big advantages we have is that our products are delivered to the patient. And a lot of their patients are going to go back up north to Michigan, New York, Chicago. They change their address. They can't get in the office every month to pick it up. So they're going to be making sales when they normally wouldn't be. So that's just one other aspect of it.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, Michael. Martin, for your timeous comments on there as well. And Jim,
may I make another comment?
Please do.
Okay. One of the things that I mentioned in the chat is the question of staff time to manage the inventory. And I think perhaps the most important thing of all is that a doctor who is merely selling supplements, can't offer any kind of performance warranty. There's no guarantee, there's no money back, there's nothing like that. And the other thing is, You know, you say that they have a 50% markup. Well, that's all great. How much scanning revenue do they make? Absolutely none. And that's a very significant component. If they're scanning 5 patients a year, that's 24,000 a year.
Mhm.
You know, this is a significant, compelling component in the whole revenue structure that we have and nobody else does.
Yeah, and that 24,000 a year doesn't include the $8 a month they're getting if they do rescan.
You're absolutely
Right.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I think some of us are really sold on this program.
Or the
Come on in.
$8 that they get for putting a new ADR or a new Enjoy or whatever we're now calling it, new subscription in place.
Correct.
Here you go. Thank you.
Good point.
So all in all, it adds up. Ours actually adds up. When you look at the whole overall program, it's way more than 50%. They can't even come close.
Exactly. Not comparable. So thank you very much, Martin, for that. Does anybody have any, if you've got any questions or any subjects or any, things you want to discuss, please let Dan and I know and we'll go through it. We'll include you. This is an inclusive call. It's not a monologue or a two people monologue. This is supposed to be a dialogue with everybody if we want. And so please feel free to let us know if you have any themes or any subjects you want to discuss, and we can take that into account. So anything else? Danny, thank you. Thanks, Martin.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
And I'll thank Bonnie.
Jane, Bonnie, thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Bonnie too for bringing that up, because there's a lot of points in there that people haven't heard, they need to hear. And, the more we understand that, again, it's coming back to developing a team. And that's where the real money is in this business. I mean, I've had the pleasure of presenting the Ruby plan at a couple of our healthcare symposiums. And we need to understand that's where the real money is in this. We can make a lot of money just, getting doctors and bringing them on board. But it's when you get into the development of your team, that's where the real money comes from. So thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, everybody, for your good points. And we'll see everybody next week. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Listening,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.